Hey kids, Mr. Fly here, hope you're well. Now sadly the time has almost come for me to give this lovely puppy back to those kind folks up at Hinckley at the Triumph factory back. The bike was only lent to me for a period of time and it's a bit of a shame to give it back because I think it looks absolutely great here in the man cave. It feels right at home and who knows, maybe one day there'll be another one parked up here. Anyway, in the time I've had the bike, I've got to know it pretty well. I've ridden it in all sorts of conditions, on all sorts of roads, in darkness, in light, motorways, through town and so on. So I think I've got a good understanding of what the bike is like to live with day to day. So stick around, stay tuned to this video for the next few minutes and I'll tell you what it's like to live with the Triumph Bonneville T100. Okay, so in this video what I wanted to do was take a look at some of the aspects of ownership of a bike that maybe you don't get in normal journalist type bike reviews. So what's the thing like to actually live with? What's it like to clean? What's it like when you take it to the fuel station? What's it like riding at night? Does the headlight work? That sort of thing. So stick around and stay tuned for the next couple of minutes and I'll look in detail at each of those kind of practical ownership aspects and let you know what I've thought of those. So first of all, what's it like when you go to the fuel station? So the first time at a fuel station then, it's always a bit of a voyage of discovery with a new bike, isn't it? You don't quite know how the cap's going to go, but these ones on the new Bonnevilles look absolutely fantastic. They've got the little Triumph logo and so on them, and I assumed with it that all you do is unlock it and then lift it off. Well, that's not quite the case. As you can see, I'm fumbling away here. What actually you have to do is you turn the lock quarter of a turn and then you screw the whole cap off. It's completely an unscrewable cap. It's not just a turn the key and pull off like every other bike that I've used is. So once you work that out, absolutely no problem at all. Bike doesn't lean over that far, so it's easy to top the tank up, no issues at all. So that's it at the fuel station. What's she like to ride at night?
At night time, this thing has got an absolutely phenomenal headlight. And it's great because this is on dip now. I don't know if the camera's showing it much, and it's got a really wide spread and you can see pretty well. And you just press the headlight flasher once and it puts it up to full beam and it's like turning night into day. And again, you only have to press it once to go back to dip for oncoming traffic. None of this fiddling about with a button that's difficult to operate. So yeah, night time, no problem at all on the little Bonnie. Very impressive. Well, on the motorway, the little T100 absolutely holds its own. Okay, I'm stuck in a 50-mile-an-hour zone at the moment, so it's no struggle. I'm in top gear and it's just lolloping along in a very lazy kind of way. But earlier on, I was doing 70 miles an hour and the engine had loads more to give. So, I mean, I've seen some reviews that said the engine kind of runs out of puff at higher speeds, but I don't know what sort of high speeds those people were doing. But certainly at the top legal speeds, in Britain at least, 70 miles an hour, she had loads more to give. So, in terms of it being a practical real-world bike, absolutely. I mean, I can imagine it's not going to be the sort of bike you want to take on a track day, but certainly for riding around on normal roads, there is no lack of power whatsoever on this bike.
So one of the things that's very close to my heart is how you go about keeping a bike clean. And of course, pride of ownership and all that means that I do like to be riding a shiny bike. So I did clean the bike whilst I had it. And I'm pleased to report, I would say this bike is sort of a middling bike to clean. If my GS is the worst bike ever to clean because of all the scaffolding and nooks and crannies and so on it, this one is kind of a medium, I'd say. It's got quite a bit of little areas that take a brush to get to or whatever, but it's not that bad. Triumph have done a good job of keeping lots of pipe work and cabling out of the way, so it's relatively straightforward to clean, better than you would think, in fact, given it's got spokes and so on, which I thought were going to be an issue, but actually they clean up fine. I guess like all these things, the trick is not to let it get too dirty in the first place. What I do like about the Bonneville is the fact that it's got a bit of chrome on it. None of my other bikes have chrome, so it gives me a chance to polish something up. So for me, actually, the fact that it's got some things that may be seen as harder to clean actually is a plus point, because on a Sunday, you know, there's nothing I like more than fettling a bike in the garage. So giving the old chrome a bit of a polish would be something I would enjoy doing. So cleaning, not a big deal, not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
What about taking a pillion on board the baby Bonneville? Well, I've had my daughter on the back of the bike, and I have to say the bike handled pretty much as any bike does with a pillion. It was a lot more sluggish, of course. Acceleration was affected, and you certainly had to plan your braking a little bit more. I mentioned before that the braking on here isn't that brilliant, and therefore I was finding myself having to plan the braking and just ride very smoothly, as you always do with a pillion, but it's perfectly capable of doing so. And my daughter reported that it was a very comfortable perch on the back, so that's great. So I think as a pillion ride, fine every now and then if it's a once in a while thing, But I think if you're going to be doing some serious touring, then you might be wanting to look at the bigger bike, perhaps, when it comes to riding with a pillion. Hello, sir. Nice jacket. So around town, absolutely no problems at all. It's lightweight, easy manoeuvrability, low seat height, confidence inspiring. Oh, sorry, officer. Then, yeah, she is a delight in town. She's great through tunnels, as well as generally around town. Excellent turning circle, light flickability, confidence inspiring handling. Makes for a joy in traffic and around town generally. Easy to filter, and I think would make the ideal commuting bike.
So I've already talked quite a lot about the things that I do like about the bike in previous videos that I've made, so check out my initial review of the Triumph Bonneville T100 and the top 5 things I love about it for the details of those. But now, having lived with the bike for a little bit, what are the things that I don't like? Well, I've struggled a little bit because there's really not that much about the bike that I don't like, but I guess the first thing I would mention are the mirrors. I just don't much like the look of those. They work absolutely fine. They're better than the ones on the old Bonneville, what with the aluminium inserts, brushed aluminium inserts at the back. They look okay in that respect, but they're not a style that I like, so I'd change those out for bar end mirrors. That's number one. The other thing I don't like about the bike, and it's not so easily fixed, are the brakes. I find them just not quite as good as I would like, in that you have to pull them on quite hard. It's a good job that it's got ABS, because I've found that of use a couple of times since I've been riding the bike, and I've actively felt myself riding further away from the car in front, just because I know I can't bring this bike quite to a stop as much as I'd like, or as quickly as I'd like. So that's the other thing I don't like. In terms of other things that I would change on the bike, really not a great deal. I would get an aftermarket exhaust. I would check out the Vance and Hines ones that Triumph supply, because although this sounds absolutely lovely, it's just not quite loud enough for me, so it needs a little bit more volume, so I would do that. But that's really the only thing. So exhaust and mirrors. I wouldn't even change out the back end. I've never had a bike where I thought that the back end was good enough as they come, because in this country they usually stick out a long way and often look silly, and a tail tied is the first thing that you put on a bike. But in this case, I think that the way Triumph have designed this, it just looks right for the bike. Maybe longer term I would, but initially I wouldn't worry about the back end and getting a tail tidy. Okay, so there we have it. That's my living with the Triumph T100 Bonneville review. I hope that's been of some interest to you. I hope it's probably completely clear to you that I really love the bike, and you never know, I might well get one of these to replace the Street Triple. I need to ride the new Street Triple before I make any rash decisions, but certainly it's top of the list at the moment. A lovely, lovely little bike. So all that remains for me now is to thank the guys up at Hinckley for letting me borrow the bike over an extended period of time. And I hope that's been of some interest to you, and look forward to speaking to you next time. Until then, this has been the Mr. and Fly. Cheerio.